Hi YouTube, this is Bayu here. It's a rainy morning on the 28th, July 28th. Lately there have been a couple questions in private that people are extremely confused with the approach to a republic and a nation. And what I had right now is basically a short conversation between the two things, and so an example so you can see it. And a very nice conversation between professor, PhD kinds. I only talk about PhDs because they are authority, because they have spent years of studies in one particular field. You cannot be a professor, a PhD in 5, 6 fields. It's impossible. What is the old saying? Master of none,
jack of all trades,
jack of all trades,
none.
master of none. Right? You can't. You have to have one field. And as you know, my background is in education and in linguistics, and I speak 2 languages very good. And I chapter the third one. What's the third one? German. And 500, 600 words in Russian. Okay, so the conversation that I saw was from the Hindu Indian Museum between Professor James Cuomo and Mr. Erwin Finkel. And the part that I want you to understand, and why do I bring this up, because it's a typical conversation between 2 different philosophies of view. And the argument was here of the return of stolen property. I said again, stolen property by the British pirates. It's not that surprising. However, even though the British pirates stole it, or the government retained the pieces, the presentation of Mr. Cuomo, James Cuomo, I'm not sure that he have a PhD, states the right of the state that had the stolen property or the removed property to justify the means, to justify that mean with legal term. And he was referring to the failure that, according to him, this is important, it is nothing more than perception. According to him, Mr. Cuomo, the failed state of Syria is a broke up state, so therefore you can take the stuff whatever you want. And this is exactly what the United States is doing right now in Syria. Stealing the oil, stealing the property, stealing a territorial means. Because there is a big discrepancy on the definition of the meaning between a nation and a republic. Now we know that Syria, under so much pressure, the people of Syria, the Assyrians, has won the so-called Western-style civil war, which was never a civil war. It was a finance war, exactly what's happening right now in Libya. You don't have to be on the right, you don't have to be on the left, you don't have to be a capitalist, or you don't have to be a communist or socialist to understand how some part of the world steal from another part of the world. It has been like that since the beginning of humankind. I know I have an argument with somebody that show a few white supremacists fully combat loaded right next to the cross. And some people got upset and said, hey, idiot, that's normal. That right there is nothing strange. That happens during the Middle Ages when the so-called Catholic faith defender, or Christian defender, well, it was Catholic, the Pope. When you mention Pope, it's Catholic. The Crusaders were fighting and destroying Syria again, because that country was being reached, and part of the Ottoman Empire. And finally the Ottoman Empire won the victory and took Constantinople, and we had that issue a couple of weeks ago with the church, which is also a palace, which is now a museum, it also a mosque in the evening. So the question here is it the state of the Republic of Turkey, because two different things, had the right to dictate laws in their own territory? And the question is yes. Now, if the law dictated by a republic goes against the will of the people in the nation, then we have a problem. That's like it's happening right here in the U.S., in Oregon, and it's going to happen in Chicago. Because already the mayor, which is the head of the city, which is the third biggest city in the nation, I think it still is. Houston might have better numbers in 2020. But the city mayor already told the feds, National Press Conference, we don't want the federal goons over here. And it is true, because you have to understand that nations has a different feeling than the rest of the people in the union, in this case US, or in another country will be the rest of the republic. And here's a very good definition that I found. This is a non-US definition. This is a Britannica definition, which I would say is a purist of the English language. Okay, even though English doesn't have a academy language per se, the Queen take it upon herself through Britannica Encyclopedia and Britannica state apparatus to control the language somehow. Okay, this is a nation. No, this is a republic. Okay. Okay, give me a second. I have to put up my sheet right here. When I mention the problem that happened in Yugoslavia. Okay. Definition of a nation. Number one, a nationality sense forged into Yugoslavia. So Yugoslavia was a combined nations that put together under General Tito. You remember Tito fought the Nazis, and Tito was a communist, but it was not aligned with the Russians, with the Soviets. It was not aligned with the Chinese. So Tito, Yugoslavia was a communist system, a nationalistic communist system. Again, nationalistic, because he created a nation, a group of nations to put together under a republic. The Republic of Yugoslavia, which is now thanks to NATO, is not a republic anymore. You got 5 different groups or 5 different nations. Nations, republic. So a republic is basically a control that is given the power by the people of the nation. If the people of the nation don't give the power to the republic, central government, complete authority, you don't have a republic, you have a nation. The Native Americans, the Indians, the Cherokees, the one in Oklahoma, Pueblos, Rapajos, up in the northeast, we just had a few. All those are nations, Indian nation, original habitant nation. So this is important to understand. Now here's the second definition. What is a nation? A community of people composed of one or more nationalities, again, comes from the word nation, and they process one or more defined territory, defined government, and customs. Okay, this is very important. Let's pick the Republic of Texas, now a state of Texas. There's only one way to make chile con carne. Cumin, that's mandatory. The beef, the pinto beans, or the red kidney beans. Depends on what's in season. A little bit of garlic, and then you boil that in the stew form. Now, of course, onions, of course, a little bit of green pepper. Now, anything extra, it is not the original Texas chile con carne. Okay, and the carne have to be chopped in little pieces like a stew kind. Now, some people don't do that because they are not from the nation, the Texas. And chile con carne has nothing to do with the Mexican South or the Rio Bravo. It is a very typical Texas food, cowboy style of food. Carne asada, not fajita. Carne asada usually is thin, and it holds on a big plate. It is not chopped like fajitas. They're two different things. Because that's what the nation has, the people of the nation. The republic, who cares? It's a political system. But the political system cannot dictate a nation, a state of Texas, how to make chili con carne. It's stupid. They will lose every single time because the people of the nation, in this case the Republic of Texas, will tell the Fed here, go jump in the bridge, off the bridge. We have a definition of republic, again, Merriam-Webster. This is Merriam-Webster. The republic is a form of government in which a state is ruled by the representatives of the citizen body. Again, it's the body that gives the power to the republic. Okay, it's a central control government. I told you, France. Modern republics are founded on the idea that sovereignty needs a rest on its people. Okay, here's the problem that our commander in the tweet is having with the state. He does not understand that the separation between the feds and the state. I guess sometimes I wonder his IQ because he doesn't read too much. And because the people that don't read don't understand it and talk out of their wazoo because they don't know better. Okay? Some states has one way to do things that in another state they don't do it. Like here in Texas, a very popular, it's like an almost mandatory deal is a quinceañera. Girls, when they become 50, they turn 15, they have a nice little party, and basically it's a Hispanic culture. They are ready to get married and be part of society. In the Anglo world, you don't have quinceañera, you have something called Sweet 16. The concept is the same. Or the southern part, western U.S., you got the debutante. Is that correct? The debutante. Same principle, but with a different idea. So you have to know the difference between a republic and a nation and the power that each one has here in the United States, the Union of the United States. The United States is not going to be the same after this presidency because it has been pulled apart by the state apparatus of the government. One case in point that make me laugh all the time is I can call her stupid, the Secretary of Education. She's I guess a multimillionaire out of French, stack nose, but she's point blank stupid. She had never been a teacher there, she had never been a teacher, she had never swept the schools. Oh, I highly respect the custodial people in the school because she will have the education to be a teacher or teacher assistant, 2 years of college in Texas, 2 years of college in Texas to be a TA. They understand the system, they work with the system, they work with the student, and they understand education, the education part per se, okay? She's clueless, and she thinks she can dictate policy from the government. Another person does not read, because if she would got knowledge of the federal law and education, she cannot dictate policy, she cannot dictate curriculum, she cannot force the state to do anything. However, what have been happening lately is they give you a carrot and they got the stick on top, money. Money is the way that the federal government go over to the states and tell them what to do. And if the government of the states are weak, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, all Northeast people, which they don't have money, the federal government tell them what to do. On the last, what was the problem with the testing that was created on the state for the states? The weird, crazy testing.
Star testing.
No, that's only Texas. I mean the federal that they were giving money by the millions.
But No Child Left Behind?
No, that was Bush. The creation of the new test, I don't remember. I retired, guys. I don't do education no more. But the issue was that the federal dictated the test, and this company, which is not a U.S. company, make the test, And then the way the teacher was supposed to teach was according to what the test format was, which did not match the curriculum. See,
Common Core.
Common Core BS. A Common Core was a certified BS, and to the defenders of Common Core, I can tell you point blank, looking at it, they are stupid, because they never realized the power of the state of the union that to dictate curriculum. It's not a federal curriculum. Guys, they are not federal curriculum. The republic, or so-called, as some of you call it, cannot tell the state nothing in education. That's why you have some states in the union. California is not the same as Texas. Texas is not the same as Oklahoma or Louisiana. Oh, Mississippi. Now, do you understand the difference on levels of education? It's because it boils down to the state and the money that the state put onto public education. And the money, the funding basically, that's the correct word. Here in Texas, public education is funded by the state property. If you live in an apartment, you don't put a penny on education. If you own a house, you pay college tuition. Yes, we do. Junior college, hospital, county hospitals, and you pay taxes on public education. So apart the state and the city, you pay 3 other taxes: college, junior college, pre-K to 12, and hospital. So this deal that I hear of a lot of people that illegal immigrants take away from the people money. Say, no, that's BS, guys. Because if you don't own a house, you don't pay for it. At least here in Texas, this is what Dallas County hospitals, Parkland Hospital. They don't want to know. They don't want to see you a birth certificate. What they want to see is where do you live. Give me your water bill, your electricity bill, your phone bill. Tell me if you live in Dallas County. If you live in Dallas County, I don't care if you're from Timbuktu, Cochabamba, or Mars. You are a Dallas County resident. Therefore, you get Dallas County medical services because we pay to it. We, not the feds. This is why Texas is a little bit different than any other state in the union. And this is why Texas, a few years ago, 4 years ago, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago, told the federal government when they were giving money for the testing, Common Core, flip the bird, says, keep it. And it was something like about $250 some million. No, we have our own education system. We don't need the feds. Keep it. And now you know, or if you read New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all those northeastern states finally it says, you know, this is not working because it was stupid. You cannot dictate testing or give a testing to the kids that their curriculum doesn't match the test. And it has to be a grade level appropriate. Grade level appropriate. You cannot ask a second grader what is your root square of 25. Because the teacher will look at you, probably when I hit you, but tell you, go down to see the principal, you cannot be in my classroom. You're too stupid to be here. And that's true. So, I want you to understand the difference between a nation and a republic. Now, do not get confused with the word, the apparatus, the state apparatus, which is basically the federal level that can dictate some power, but not all of it. International relation, that's a faith. International trade, that's a faith. But we Texans, we don't believe that because our business, this is very important for you to understand, our business is not north, our business is south. You don't believe me? Go open up the Federal Department of Commerce and see our numbers. If the union falls apart, you're going to have dirt poor states, Oklahoma being one of them, and you're going to have rich states, Texas being one of those, Florida being one of those, California being one of those, New York, I don't know. I mean, the consumption is too much of what they produce. And in the Midwest, those farmers states, Idaho, potatoes. Everybody makes potatoes, and potatoes are not a U.S. product. It's a South American product. Rice. Arkansas has now become the top station in the union to make rice, but it's too expensive, so everybody will beat the prices. Production is guided by the state. The federal cannot help or tell the state what to do. The only solution that the federal can do is give some money, some loans to the farmers to produce or to buy the product from them, which is basically the case to help the economy of the whole part, which is called the union. So now we all involved into a serious headache because the misunderstanding of the people in the White House and the people around him. Okay, I told you a couple of days ago the problem with the chief of the armed forces, commander-in-chief, another commander, the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. When he was crying, he finally realized that he got caught on the BS mentality, philosophy that they have now, and then he knew that he did wrong, so he apologized to the people of the nation. And that's basically what I wanted to tell you is you need to stop watching BS news, Fox, CNN, and start looking the issue from outside so you can reflect what's happening inside. If you stay inside, you're never going to see what is taking place. And now the political, economic relation war with China is going to be real bad because everybody in the world is going to lose. Because the whole part, the USA does not produce anything that is cheap enough to compete around the world. I said again, we do not produce anything that is cheap enough to sell around the world. Competition is selling around the world cheaper. Therefore, the production here, you don't have it. The production is outside because it's cheaper outside to produce than it's over here. It's plain economics, guy. So these guys that don't understand that, bring the company back. The CEOs of the company say, here, see, they have to pay more taxes, they have to pay state taxes, they have to pay federal taxes, they have to pay the employment taxes, and by the time that production come up, the amount of money each product costs is outrageous expensive. So you have to go outside. This is not communism or capitalism. This is production, economics 101, period. Now, I'm not an elected official to tell you how it's going to be fixed, because probably it's not going to get fixed. It's going to get worse. So this is why I want you to understand the difference between a nation and a republic. It is not the same. The republic is given power by the people in the nations. Nations, Pluto. In this case, our state. Okay, guys, short and sweet. Thank you to my new subscribers. We're working on a new video for you that have to do with this mess right here. It's very interesting, but it's worth the $20-some. I don't know. But not now, in the next video. Thank you for watching. Behave. Talk to you later.